A60. I have a great guest coming on today, my guy, Anthony D'Agostino, aka just regular Dagger. He'll be on in a few, and we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about softball. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. Want to give everybody a few updates on what's going on. One of the things that I want to talk about is one of the things I want to talk about is that hold on, I'm sorry. One of the things I want to talk about is that we are going to have the A60 Presents Kingston reunion. It will be, because I've been doing everything. I'm waiting on getting the permits for Kingston Park. My boy Munch is going to help me out with that. We're looking to create a flyer. We're going to have that meet. So it's going to be a 2-day thing. It's going to be July 9th and July 10th. Okay. Saturday will be the softball event, home run contest. We will have the softball event, softball game. All of that will be festivities, and I'm going to put together an agenda that we're going to do on Saturday. Friday, we're going to have a meet and greet. I'm going to look for a place to have a meet and greet for all our out-of-towners. I want to do something special. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm taking care of like 3 different things at one time, so excuse me. I'm sorry. So yes, we're doing the event. It's July the 9th is Friday, a meet and greet. We're looking for a location. I will be looking for a location. So if anybody has a location or want to do something, please let me know. Softball game, we will have a red carpet from 11 to 12. The event will start at about 1. We'll have a home run contest, and then we'll have a game. Again, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on getting the permits right now as we speak. Okay, so I'm very serious about it. I'm going to come down a couple of days early to maybe paint the bases in the field. We will be playing from the Atlantic side, so we ain't got to worry about hitting people's windows. So it should be a fun event. So all my peoples that's out of town, come in. We will be doing donations for food, for the shirts. So we will be doing all those type of things. I will be, giving out shirts, masks, and hats. What we will be doing also for people that we're going to have like a jersey thing. Wear your jersey, represent your team jersey, before the game. In the game, of course, you'll be wearing an A60 shirt. So that's something that I'm putting together as we speak. And I will go into more details once I get more plans and just updating you. But I'm just telling you to put that on your calendar. July the 9th is a meet and greet. Friday, Saturday is the red carpet softball event. We'll be doing at Kingston Park. Okay. So that's something that I'm putting together now. Okay, guys. So I'm just letting you know That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm putting together. Um, I have a few people that would like to help. If you want to help, please DM me, reach out to me. Like I said, we will be doing donations for the shirts, the masks, the hats, the food. So we will be doing that. I know we got a couple of people that are chefs. So please reach out to me. Um, I already looking to do some other things. So, like I said, this is something that I want to do, something I want to create. Also, what's going to happen on that Saturday, I want to acknowledge all the teams that won championships in Kingston Park. Um, I want to remember some of the guys that played in Gershwin, some of the guys that played in Bessie Head. I mean, teams. And if they can be out there, I definitely want to get them recognized. I also want to do something for the family and friends that we lost. So if everybody can, if you remember anybody we played with and that we lost, please send me that information. I might not be able to put it on a shirt, but we can do some type of recognition for them and their families. I'm going to make this an annual event. It's not just going to be a one time. This will be an annual event. We would do this every year around the same time. So please be in tune with this. I need everybody that's on, the 9 people that's on right now. Please share this. Share this, share this, share this. Also, go to my YouTube page, Chopping It Up with A60. Subscribe. I should have 9 new subscribers. Subscribe, please. Okay? I'm trying to get everything up, trying to do different things. I'm trying to bring you guys great content. So I need for everybody to share, and I need for everybody to go to YouTube and subscribe to Chopping It Up with A60. If you can't find any interviews that I have on Facebook, they will be on YouTube moving forward. So without further ado, we're going to bring the man of the hour in. We're going to introduce him. This is my guy. I have played with him for a lot of years. He brought me out to the parks. I mean, we have a different type of relationship together, bigger than softball. We'll get into that as well. But I want everybody to know, great softball player, but even better, great friend. So without further ado, let's welcome my guy in, Mr. Anthony D'Agostino.
Hello.
What's going on, Dag?
I'm getting old, man, because I put it on my calendar. I had to set my alarm. I'm like, so many things to remind me about this. And it was like the most important thing I've had in a while. So I'm just like, I'm worried about it. I'm like, I cannot miss this for the world. Like, I just got to be there and want to hear everybody, talk to everybody, So, older. The glasses, I gotta have the glasses on to see up close now. So
hey, you see, I got glasses on too, so we all good.
You were talking about wear your old jersey. Yo, I ain't fitting in my old jersey.
I don't know if I'm fitting in mine either, but I don't. That's the funny thing. I can't find any of my old jerseys, but I would like for you to make up one of those old ones we had to Vegas. I like those.
I know I have a box of old jerseys. Like, I kept everything. And I know I have the Showtime jersey. That was one of my favorite jerseys. Just the color with the blue and the gold and the wand and the hat and everything. T.O. did his thing when he put that together. But I'm not fitting in it, I can tell you that. I'll bring it. I'll use it as a headband or something. It's not going to fit me.
Well, you got a lot of people on here showing you some love. You got Reg on here, Jamal, Tony Cherry's in the building. Got Marvin that's on here. Miss Amanda, Darren is in the building again. Herman. You got Renee. Thank you. To all my
It was
friends
great
and
to see Darren yesterday. Like, Darren and I we run across each other. We always compliment each other's pictures on social media and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm so happy for him. He's got a beautiful girl, family, everything like that. But just to hear him, and that's a different side of Darren that you guys seen out there. That's the loving side. That Darren's a great guy, man. Great interview, great person. So.
Yeah, and that's what I said. A lot of people will get on here. Remember, like knowing people outside of softball. I've had opportunity to know you outside of softball, but we'll get to that in Darren outside of softball. So to see, guys that can come on here and share some of those stories is a blessing. I'm glad that I can get you guys, out here to do that. So we're not going to hold up too much, man. So where did the softball start for you?
Well, I mean, I was born in Brooklyn. I was born Georgia Avenue in like the Brownsville, close to Bed-Stuy area.
Hmm.
And then I moved over to Pennsylvania Avenue, right when you get off the Jackie Robinson,
Hmm.
when I was about 8. And I lived in that building right next to the bank. So I'm originally a Brooklyn guy. And then I moved into Queens when I was 9 years old.
So we can claim you in the Brooklyn squad then. So we can
Yeah.
claim
I
you.
go. I'm both. I'm
Um,
multi-borough. But I started playing softball in the Banks parking lot, right there on Jamaica Avenue, right off the Jackie Robinson. So I was like 7, 8 years old. Old wooden bat. Back then it was wooden bats when you're 7, 8 years old in the
mhm.
'70s. And that's where I just started playing softball. Then when I moved to Queens, we did it, recreationally in the schoolyard, but it was baseball for a little while.
Hmm.
And then when I really got into softball, um, the Victory League used to be fast pitch too. I think it might have been on Saturdays. Sunday was the straight in, but there was a fast pitch league there on Saturdays, and it was a lot of the older guys like Woodhaven and Ozone Park and stuff. And if anybody remembers, like that, Lewis of Woodhaven had a good crew. They were really tough to beat. Like their pitcher was, he was really tough. And there was another team up there that was tough, but it was fast pitch, and they would bring it. It wasn't windmill. So that's how I really got started over there. We put together like, just friends, and we played in the league. We were really young. We were like 16, 17 years old. So we were just starting out in our leagues up there. And then what happened is the Victory League came about, and it was for 10,000. I remember those meetings. It was $1,000 a team, winner take all, and that's how that got started. But I wasn't known at that time like Darren. Darren was known, he was a great center fielder and stuff like that. He got picked up by like Metro, and then there was Mr. Break and stuff. So we weren't in it the first year. Like James was in it, if you remember James Confessori, who definitely, not taking anything away from Al Watson and Tap, James right there with them, and he played with them too. So they'll give him his respect too. James was probably a little less of a fielder, but he could hit with anybody out there, James.
No, James is tough. James plays short. I remember James. James
Yeah,
played with us. Played with us when we went to a lot of the leagues out there in Queens. And a lot of the
James was
teams.
on, I think he was on Mo Better the first year.
Yeah, that's
When they,
that.
yeah.
That's the one that Al got into. They got into the situation with the Black Sox to fight over James.
Yeah. I remember our Bones had a problem. He slid into the Playboys Bones. Remember Big Tall Bones?
Yeah, big dog, first
And
baseman. Yeah.
and then Big Russ came over and straightened that all out real quick. But that was another altercation down there. That was my only time like an oh shit moment, because like it was our team, and it was Bones, Chris Tamboni, who's
Hmm.
my best friend. Him and James were my best friends at the
Hmm.
time. Bones was my best man at both of my weddings.
Hmm.
So he's that close to me. And that was my only, like, what are you going to do? I got to protect my guy, my team. But Russell came over, and Russell's like, anybody coming after Bones, he put Bones right behind him. He said, anybody coming after him got to get through me first.
Yeah, that's a
And,
lot.
and
That's a lot of man to get through.
yeah. So Russ was he was intimidating, but yeah. So that was the one scuffle like we had down there. You always had a little chirping going on and stuff, but that's normal stuff with that competition. But so with the Victory League, we had put in like just a young group of guys or whatever, and everybody else in the league. There was Mo Better, there was Mr. Break, there was Metro. So all of those were the big teams. We were at the bottom, and we were just coming up, like the group that I was with. And I was starting to hit them out. I was learning how to hit the straight in pitch at that time and everything. And I back then I had like, really good power to the gaps. So I hit a couple over the bathroom there in left center from the backfield or whatever. And people started noticing that I was hitting, maybe 2 in a double header out or whatever. And then they started, yeah, hey, let's do this. Let's put something together or whatever. So we sort of just, we jumped into it. And then we started coming up as the younger guys. Because back then, that Metro team, like it had Darren and Vinny. It had, there was the Mets too with Vinny Lemo and Anthony Russo. Of course, Mo Better is Mo Better. Anywhere they go, they're the favorite. Mr. Break had Weezer, a bunch of the lefty Derek, was on that team up there. They had Butchie throwing the thing fast, So that league was very competitive. And if you just got noticed in that league, it was a good thing.
Let me ask you a question. You made a comment about, Mo Better being the favorite. How could they be the favorite if nobody never seen them play out in Victory?
Well, I mean, when I came up and I seen them, I wasn't in the league year one. I came in the Victory League the next year. So I would go up and watch them. But they won a lot of games by just showing up at the field and throwing their gloves out there, because their warm-ups and their regimen of what they did before a game. So you're a basketball player. You see teams warming up in a basketball game. It's different. That was like them. They warmed up like a basketball team. And that's intimidating. You got a lot of guys out there just out there for, softball. Like, let's get the game going. I want to go have a couple of beers and stuff like that. Great players, mind you. Like, the preparation that Chris Legree had.
You're gonna resell the lot.
It's like second to none. Unheard of. You would never do that. So they won those games. They're up there and they're stretching and
are you able to finance that?
Chris is in their ear yelling at them and everything like that. They won games just based on that.
That's crazy. So
and to see that now we seen that up at Victory. So you were coming into pretty much a predominantly white neighborhood where everybody knew each other in Victory. And to see a team like that with the purple, with the black and everything like that, doing what they were doing, it was intimidating,
Yeah. How did you move to Bricktown? Because I heard a lot of stories about Bricktown, and you've always played there. You brought me to Bricktown. What was that like? And tell me about some of the players that was out there.
So with Bricktown, there was this guy named Scott Weiss, and he's the one who introduced me to Heavy, and then Heavy introduced me to Black. So the Victory League had two divisions. Like, there was a morning one that was with Mo Better, Metro, and all of those guys. And then there was an afternoon one that Mo Better wasn't in, but it was all of those other guys. They just scattered on different teams. I think you had like the OZ Royals, the Mets were in it, a bunch of other teams were in it, and that was a very good league as well. So
I mean, there's a lot of
that. Scott brought down Heavy for that. And then that's when it started to take the shape, like Heavy became a presence in the order we had. So like you had like, me, James, Bone, Chris Carapolo, he was a third baseman. I think he may have played. He played for Metro. He was their third baseman. And it was a younger kid, but he could field at third. People will remember him. His name don't come up that much because he didn't really play that much after the Victory League. So what happened was when Heavy came, he came into the middle of the order, and then Scott brought me out to Bricktown with a team called Alpha Collision. And I went out there, and that was like my first night. I remember riding out there. I remember as plain as day. Like, you heard so much about Bricktown. You heard about like the Giants and the Reds and everything. And you heard about Alpha Collision back in the day. And riding in the car that night to go out there, my first time, like the goosebumps I got was like, finally I'm making it, because now I made it, like, you know, a victory where I could hit there, I got respect. Now I'm going out to Bricktown. Now this is the next step in my journey to be able to play up there. So I played with Alpha for like a year, and we wound up winning. And then all of this is going on at the same time, like, and Heavy and I, we're talking, and we want to do something. So the following year, we put a team into Bricktown.
Okay.
And that's when we really took off. So it was backdrafts. We started out as backdrafts. Donnie's sister, remember Donnie, right?
Yes.
Donnie's sister was dating the owner of Backdrafts, and they gave us like a big sponsorship. And we used that. We put the teams in all the leagues and everything like that. And that Bricktown really kick-started us, because the next year in the championship, I believe we were down 9 runs. First game, best 2 out of 3. We were down 9 runs, and in the last inning against a team called the Outlaws. Very good team. And we came back in the last inning, and we won that, and then we wound up sweeping them. And that year we must have won 20-something championships. I still have I have the jackets in storage, but one jacket has, I think, 19 or 20 championships on it. It was the old style with the leather sleeves and everything like that. So that's what really Bricktown kicked us off as like backdrafts, and a lot of us that were coming up were with that crew there. And then we added the veterans, Black, Trevor, Russell, Junior. You know, it morphed into something bigger than that.
Right. So, what you know, I know there was a me and you had this conversation about Junior, and another guy you was telling me about that was a lefty. I think he played with College Point, and you said nobody talks about that. Talk about that guy. Can you tell me who that person was again?
Well, it's Duke from College Point. We had spoke who the best, like, flat out hitters we ever played with, like. Not home run hitters. Home run hitters, man, that's a whole different thing. But a guy who would seriously hit 750, 800. And I played with both Duke and Junior. You know, Duke a lot more, because at the end of, you know, me winding down, me stopping playing, I was with Duke a lot more. Duke was right there as probably the best hitter I've played with. But not home run hitter. Back in his day, he can hit him out of Bricktown, but he hurt his shoulder. Center field, he was a phenomenal center fielder. I actually moved, like, when we started doing tournaments, and I started playing with the College Point guys, and they came over to me. I moved from center field to right field in the 3-man outfield, because Duke was there. So, you know, he had a phenomenal arm, great jump on the ball, but every time you pick a spot, he hit that ball right through that spot.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, you know, like he had the College Point guys and everything, they had their Yankee Stadium was in Queens.
Right.
Where the Brooklyn guys was, you know, it was Kingston and St. John's. Duke and them were like Crocheron and the Farm and up there. So I was blessed enough to play in both, and I got, you know, firsthand view of pretty much every quality player back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay. Let's talk about the travel ball, because you took a lot of players and you put them in tournaments. What was your process of doing that, and when did you start doing that?
Well, I believe I went to Alfaro, right? Most of us went to Alfaro.
Yeah.
Anthony Alfaro, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
Richie Palumbo, you know, he was the draw. Again, it was Scott, the guy Scott Weiss. He's the one who pulled me from certain things. Hey, come out, let's do this, let's go do this, or whatever. So I started playing with Alfaro, and that's what started. Then after, it's like, how many guys, you know, like, I enjoyed it, and you don't want to go to a team and, you know, like, my friends wanted to play. So there was like so many guys who wanted to do this and start playing and start traveling. I had to leave Alfaro to go play with my friends. So Heavy was on Alfaro with me. Richie Palumbo was with me. There was one or two. Dio, Derek Alva used to come, play with us. So there was a few, but I wanted to do my own thing because I had other friends who wanted to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how that got started. I mean, the process, once Tony and I hooked up, Tony Cherry, once we hooked up, I really left it up to Tony as far as who he would pick from Brooklyn, because that's, I didn't know the people like Tony does. Again, you want to put together a team of quality players, but more importantly, ball players who get along and everything like that. Tony knows the temperament. Tony knew, the 3 or 4 guys that I had, what we were doing. I think Tony relied on Heavy's opinion, when it came to things. But I said, Tony, this is what I got. I got me, James, Bone, Donnie, and this is what we got. And then he finished up the rest of the team.
Okay. Like, let's talk about that, because I know you have a special place for Heavy and Tony. Let's talk about that. How was that relationship with those two guys?
So, I mean, both of them mean the world to me. They're mentors to me. Heavy is more family. Heavy, he was more involved with my family. He was over my house. We roomed together on the road. Heavy was, more than a friend. Heavy's like, I have like 3 or 4 best friends in my life, and Heavy is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm 51. We don't have that best friend sort of thing, but growing up, Heavy was one of my best friends at that point in time. Heavy, Bone, James, Donnie, those were, Heavy and I shared a lot of time on the road together, just, traveling and with our families and stuff like that. So Heavy has that really, he's at another level. Tony worked for me. We worked together in one of the jobs that I had. Tony was a mentor. He taught me a lot about the circuit of traveling and what to watch out for, how to become a better hitter. Tony would always be there. And Tony had such a way of communicating with you as a leader and, as a father figure and everything. Because, believe it or not, you may say I'll be your father figure. Tony was like a father figure to so many. But, to me, Tony would be like, you got to learn to hit this way. You got to do it. We'd go to take batting practice together. We did a lot. Tony was a big critic of me, but in a very, very professional way. So I learned a lot from him, not only as a hitter, but as a person. So Tony means a lot to me as well.
Okay.
Two outstanding people, but just 2 different relationships. Heavy's more of the warm and fuzzy guy. Like I would hug Heavy. And Tony's the serious guy. Like so. But definitely two guys that really took me as a person to another level. As a softball player and as a person.
Yeah, dealing with Heavy and TC, if it wasn't for TC, I wouldn't have never met you.
Yeah.
So that's that affiliation. But Heavy, same person every day, he never changed. He was always that guy. I still hear him riding me to this day. Al, just hit it on the ground and beat it out. You're the fastest dude I see. Just hit it out. Just run it out.
Yeah.
So he would get mad
that's
at
what
me
they would
every
say,
time. Yeah.
any way to win and everything like that. But
Mhm.
even to take that a step further, Heavy's the one and Tony's the one who got me to come into Brooklyn. I was blessed enough. Now, I put them on a high pedestal, but right there with them, I got to call, I give a shout out to Tio,
Mhm.
Trevor, Russell. These are the quality guys that I was blessed to play with, to get to know as people. And then, to go the next step, like they brought me down to Brooklyn. And
Mhm.
you and I wouldn't be talking right now if it wasn't for them. Because Tio came to me, yo, you know how Tio talks, right?
Yeah.
Yo, pimp, you got, so you come down, you and Bones, we can do this, whatever. So that was, that was a no-brainer, man. I would do anything for them. And going down to Brooklyn, it was an honor. That was the next step. Like locally, it was Victory, Bricktown, Kingston, St. John's. It was there, no particular order, but that was my journey to
Mhm.
get to down to Brooklyn and start playing down there.
So let's talk about that. T.O. was the one who brought you into Kingston. What was it like when you first played that first game in Kingston?
Well,
What was that?
it was different. Like, you know, um, the stuff you heard about it going into it, like, you know, they bet on every at bat and stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
like, you know, you're going down there and like you don't want to lose anybody no money or nothing like that, right? So like, or if someone's betting against you, like
Yeah.
I was younger at the time and I was just like I was already into my own. So I went down there and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do my thing down here. I'm gonna, you know, give it my all. You know, that fence was there. So overall, you know, from standing outside and looking in at the quality of players, that was a great feeling. I took it as like, you know what, I got to show out here because you're coming down and being one of the only white guys down there.
Mhm.
People are going to judge you based on skill set as well as, you know, race and everything like that. So, you know, you got to be tough. And I learned, you know, I'm involved in AAU basketball. I have 600 kids in my program and everything like that. So I learned through sports, color goes away. There's friendship, man. It's if you can ball, you're accepted either way.
Mhm.
So that was the thing. I'm like, I'm coming down here. I'm gonna play softball. I'm gonna give it my best. They know me, so I'm coming down. If I'm with T.O. and Heavy and Russell, and I know I'm batting in this part of the order and stuff, people are gonna know about me right away because they're gonna be like, why is this dude here? You know, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So T.O. gave me the respect. I was a starter. I produced for him, you know, and you just get to know people, you know, like it's not just about hitting a ball, catching a ball or anything. It's just, you know, mingling. You know, I tried to make many friends, you know, when I went down there. So, you know, Tio right away brought me up to St. John's like the week after. Like I was with the tribe up there, Jeff
Mhm.
and the boys up there. I think Jeff, yeah. So right away I was all around Brooklyn real quick. So you had to want to be there. You had to want to produce, you know.
Mhm.
And that was the thing. I wanted the competition. I've always been very competitive. Like, you know, I'm here. We're gonna play. We're gonna win. You give it your all.
So Kingston, let's talk about that. You playing? What was the first big game you played in Kingston, and what was the atmosphere like? Just that atmosphere in that park.
Well, I mean, the most of the primetime games were night, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, like in the day, like if you played earlier in the day, it was like not as good as like night. Night was lit up there, you know. The
Mhm.
street was packed, the sidelines were packed, and everything like that. I mean, every game when you played Mobetta, Black Sox, TNF was really good back when I was there.
Mhm.
The Horsemen were real good. Props Jamal. That I seen Jamal hit on the Horseman, and I'm like, wow, we got to get him somehow, some way. You know, he would go out of center almost in
Yeah.
Kingston, Jamal. So,
Yeah.
what you would call it? I mean, the big games were the playoff games. You know, we lost to Mobetta twice. I was down there, I think, 2 years, and both years we lost to Mo Better. And the first year, I think it was maybe 3-up in the series or whatever. We might
Yeah.
have lost in Game 7.
Yeah.
That was the opportunity that we had to beat them.
We lost in
The
game
second year,
6.
yeah, the second year I think we lost in the semis because I think they played the Black Sox that year in the finals. I think
Mhm.
we got screwed because we didn't seed the right way or whatever.
Mhm.
But that series against Mo Better, it was intense. You know, it was, you know, it was crowded, and you know, I mean, you played. Both teams played phenomenal. They were just better than us. You know, you tip your hat, you lose to a team. You know, I
Mhm.
man for man, different. You know, if it was Arc or something, I think, you know, it'd be a different game. We were on their turf. You know, the Showtime team really wasn't from down there. You know, like you had Jeff, right? Jeff wasn't
Mhm.
from down there.
Mhm.
Um, who else? Ruben, I
Ruben.
think was from Rockaway too, right? So
Ruben.
Russell was from Queens. You know, so that was more.
Larry. Junior,
yeah,
Creek.
Creed, yeah.
Hmm.
So I mean, I think we had the wrong makeup of a team. We had more of a arc team who would kill the ball, where
Mm.
they had like Salam, Larry, Watson, Tap, like those guys who keep the ball in the park and hit it off the fence, and they're getting doubles and triples, where we're hitting the ball 700 feet and getting a single. So and their outfield, man, like Darren was saying, you pick your poison where you're trying to hit that ball. They had 3 center fielders, playing playing 3 outfield spots. So it was the pitching. I thought the pitching, Speedy is phenomenal. Probably one of the best pitchers in lob I've ever faced. But we had Willie and we had Napo. So it was like that. Everything was balanced. I just thought we were top heavy as far as too many power hitters.
Do you remember the pitch changing when you got to the playoffs, like speed, instead of it being slower in the regular season? Is that something you remember? Because, like you said, straight in and arc is totally different.
Yeah.
So in the playoffs, they sped up the pitch. Do you remember that getting a little bit faster, or did that confuse you, being that it was faster?
Well, I mean, to be honest, me playing both and coming from a fast pitch start, I had 2 different stance. Where arc, I would take a step and a half and drive the ball to whatever field I want to.
Mm-hmm.
There, you had to it was more baseball. So you had to have a stance where you stood there and you're going to go with the pitch. So, if the pitch is a little outside, you want to punch it over into right field, you do it. If it's inside, you want to take a shot at jacking it, maybe hitting the fence and left, or beating the left field, or hitting the gap. So my 2 stances were different. But to answer your question, it did get a little faster. And it was the same up at Victory, too. And it was more intense. Like, the quality of player, like, down there was so respected, right, throughout the whole year. When those kind of players like Speedy and Lenny, who pitched and everything like that, they would be on the umpire a little bit more. Then you had, Jake. Jake was on everybody, but Jake was always on the umpire. And props to Jake. He's one of the biggest, best power hitters I've ever played with, too. He was a phenomenal hitter who got better. He used to just be, 400 feet or nothing. He turned himself into a very good hitter, through that process, man, hitting the ball, just getting on top of it. Everything didn't have to be 400 feet. So he turned himself, and you had Calvin Boone was one of the most annoying players down there. Great man himself, but like he'd be in your ear, he'd be in the ump's ear and everything. So there was a lot of distractions and trickery that were going on down there, and not to mention you had the crowd, and people out there and talking and everything. So you got to give kudos to the umpire. They had great control of it, but I mean, to answer your question, it did get a little bit faster. But I mean, that was it. At that point in the season, you should be used to the ball coming a little faster anyway. Your timing is on. It's at the end of the year. You probably played 100 games between everything, so you should have been used to that.
Right. So I know you said you also played in St. John's. What was that atmosphere like, playing Bricktown, which is an arc league? Now you come into St. John's. You don't got your rep in Kingston, so now you're in St. John's. What was that like?
Well, I mean, Tia was basically bringing me around, and when we were at Kingston, I got to play on Showtime, which was one of the favorites. When I went up to St. John's, it was a favor for Tio, and I got to meet the guys on the tribe and everything, but we weren't a top team. But my first 2 at-bats, my first at-bat, we were playing not on the side where you walk in but where everybody used to sit. We were playing on the other field. So my first time up there, Tio's like, yo, my man can hit or whatever. I hit one on the top right field fence, almost out. And I know that's a shot, but I swear on my kids, I hit the top of the fence. The next at bat, I hit it out of left into the handball courts. So everybody was on me right there. Everybody, like, I wound up, I didn't do that every time, but I was just gassed up, like focused. And I'm like, but the shot to right field really woke everybody up because it almost went out of the park.
That's
and coming
crazy.
from a righty. So, and that's one of the things about my swing and everything. I learned to hit, and Tony used to drill this into me: hit for the park that you're playing in. And between Queens and Brooklyn, you have short right field, no
Mm-hmm.
right field, left field's
Mm-hmm.
close, left field's far, center field.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go and quiet as it kept, I would take batting practice 3-4 times a week. And people be like, "Oh, how do you do all of this and whatever?" I'm like, "Yo, you got to put in time, And I tell this to the kids playing basketball now: if you want something, you got to go get it. It doesn't come
Right.
to you." So, I would go to the cage and I would hit 50 balls to right field, 50 to center, 50 to left, hitting up the middle. You learn, like what you want to do, and then situations come up. I was a bad ball hitter on purpose. Like
Mm-hmm.
you throw me outside, that's where I want to go. Because the
Mm-hmm.
fence is only 200 feet. You know,
Yeah.
so it may look like a junk pitch or whatever, but throw it outside. I'm gonna hit it over that way. So.
Yeah, I was a bad ball hitter too. It was horrible. I, that right center, that
But
was
if
your
you miss
swing,
swung,
right
you'd be
center.
on second base anyway. So
Yeah, it was on the ground. So I mean, when you played up there, but was the atmosphere different in Kingston than it was in St. John's that you remember?
I thought Kingston was more prestigious to win.
Hmm.
Um, and that's just my opinion. I,
Yeah.
I don't I don't know what was more prestigious. I just thought based on there was more skill involved in Kingston because of the pitch. You
Hmm.
always had to figure in who's pitching. If you had a regular guy who's just going to throw you the ball right over, you're going to score 30 runs in Kingston. I mean,
Hmm.
most teams score that many anyway, but like it's an easy 30 rather than a hard 30. Up at St.
Yeah.
John's, you had, like the pitch is coming over. Like so, and you had a fence around where you could bail yourself out. You hit the ball 300 feet in St. John's, it's a home run. You hit the ball 300 feet in Kingston, it's a fly out. So you had the pitcher there that made a difference. You know,
Right.
and being that it was flat, you didn't always get that elevation to drive a ball out of the park. So Kingston had some of the best infielders I've ever seen. So there was
Right.
no easy ball that you just got on top of, and people are watching your bat the way you're swinging, and the ball goes past them. In Kingston, that don't happen because it's a straight through swing. You know,
Mhm.
so
Well,
I thought Kingston, to win Kingston was more prestigious, and I thought that it was a little more challenging than it was up at St. John's. Now, keep in mind, I didn't really win that much at St. John's.
right. Right. Right.
We even came in the year after, and I played with the Comets, which had Junior and Jeff on the team.
That was
But
Jeff's
we,
team.
we
That was Mercedes Benz team, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So we were like a 500 team because guys didn't really show up and stuff like that. I think the fence got into their heads a little bit. So that was really, St. John's. I didn't have success. Kingston, I lost in the finals and the semifinals. But we our record was like, during the year, I think we'd split with Mo Better, split with the Black Sox. So like the other teams, like we were, top 1, 2 a team, top 1, 2 or 3.
Okay. Well, so now let's talk about playing on concrete and dirt. Which one would you prefer?
Oh man, my knees, my knees say one thing. You know what? I had good times playing on both, a lot of success on both. Playing on concrete with victory, you got a natural swing out of it.
Mm,
Playing on dirt, man, that righties batter's box, it's like a gravesite. Like
mm,
you're people digging in for no reason. I'm like, yo, it's softball. Like, what are you digging in for? Um, so I mean, it depends where you played and how the field was. Like dirt with Bricktown before they
mm.
changed that rule and everything like that. That there was nothing better. Like you going there and swinging and being on the dirt and hitting the ball out or whatever. Concrete I love because I grew up at Victory. I lived 10 blocks from Victory, and that's the first place really I got my start and whatever. But from a batting perspective, concrete on a hot summer day I love.
Oh, okay.
But then traveling, you go out of state.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Don't you walk on that field and you smell the cut grass and the field is beautiful. They just put down the lines and everything. It's that's a good feeling too. So I guess I would just say, you know what? I love softball. Well, I love softball.
just leave it at that.
At that time, I was playing, 5 nights a week, like the traveling on the weekends and everything like that. So I was addicted,
Let's talk about the Hamptons. I know you started doing something out there. I know you played out there, but you also started running your own tournament out there. Can you talk about that?
I took over from a historical standpoint. The Hamptons was going on for 40 years, and it started out as a Tuesday afternoon tournament. Now I'm going, history that I've heard. So if I make a mistake, I apologize, but I'm going to say what I heard. It started out as the bars out there. They would work, the bartenders would work on the weekends, and then they would have off on, during the week. And they started this tournament out there from, just local bars out there and stuff. So word got back to some of the better Queens players and everything, and it blew up. And I was out there in the mid 90s. Richie Palumbo brought me out, come out, play out there. And you've been to the field, right? You played out there.
Yeah.
You walk on that field, it's behind a VFW. And you have all of Queens is out there on a Tuesday, Wednesday. You had to take off 2 days. It was single elimination. So if you lost on the first day, you were screwed. You're either going back to work on Wednesday or you're staying out there and getting drunk. So losing on a Tuesday was a bad thing. So you didn't want to come out there and lose on a Tuesday, but you played one game on a Tuesday, and then Wednesday you finished everything up. But there was a party there at night. You went out, you stayed in a hotel, everything like that. So I went out there and fell in love with it, and at the end, it was like the 35th year, it was closing. So I wanted to carry it on. I wanted to get people into the Hall of Fame that should have been in the Hall of Fame and everything. So I took it over for the last 5 years. Unfortunately, the field that we were playing at behind the VFW, they ripped it down. So we moved it to a different location. And we kept it going for 5 years, but I managed to get the people who I grew up playing with there into the Hall of Fame. And that meant, Heavy and Tony were the two people that meant a lot to me to get, I got Jimmy Ty in the Hall of Fame. Pat Ty.
Jimmy, man, wow.
Yeah. His brother Pat, a lot of people that belonged in the Hall of Fame that if it just ended when they gave it up, would have never got into it. So I felt I owed that to that, and the tournament owed it to us because we came out there, we supported it for years, and it was a phenomenal thing. And you won some nice stuff, I led the tournament in home runs twice. I got big trophies. I was most outstanding player. Like the hardware they gave away, it was legit. Like when you came home on Wednesday night after that party and you won it, you got shirts, hats, trophies. It was legit. So, and it was that Tuesday, Wednesday was always the third Tuesday, Wednesday in August, and everybody from Queens went out there. And then Dio played out there, you played out there, Heavy, Tony. So it was a good time, and it's missed.
How did you pick your Hall of Famers? Was it a process, or you just figured how you wanted to do it?
Well, I mean, I was out there for 20 years, so I knew, who first you got to find out who was in the Hall of Fame. And the people who ran the league out there, they had either lost or threw out all of their Hall of Fame people that they had. So I had to talk with people who were out there before that and who was in the Hall of Fame. And then, you could just ask people, are you in the Hall of Fame or whatever? And, you gather that information. But I knew for the most part. I was about 98% sure who was going in and everything like that.
So. Oh, okay.
Heather, can I have a drink?
I remember going to the Hamptons, you taking me out there. First steak dinner I had was out there. So that's interesting that we talked about that. But I want to talk about that Glen Clove tournament.
That was something.
That
It was a 2-day tournament that turned into like a 2-week tournament because of the weather and stuff.
Yeah, it was real bad. I just remember, and I tell people this short story. I was in college at the time, and I remember playing, but it rained. Like you said, it was a 2-day tournament, turned into a 2-week. And I think the game had to be on a Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. Couldn't remember what day it was.
Yeah.
All I know was I said, Dagger, I'm in school. And you was like, I don't care where you at. You better get on that train. I'll come pick you up, and you're gonna play this game. So eventually, I said, "Come on, man." I said, "You know what? All right, fine." I said, "I don't even have my stuff with me." He was like, "Don't worry about that. Just get on the train. I'll meet you at the train station."
To be honest, they were using red heats, Thunder 47 core balls, and I didn't want to play the outfield.
Oh, so that's
I didn't want to play center field, so I'm like, "Yo, Al, you got to get here, man. I'm not running after these balls. They hit the ball. It was, if you remember Glen Cove, down the line was the basketball courts where if you pulled it, it was a home run. Everything else was open field. And we played Minutemen, I think it was Minutemen in the finals.
It was Minutemen.
And
they had to beat us twice.
They were one of the best teams ever out in Long Island. They were top 3-4 team ever out in Long Island. And, you know, they had Joe King and Big Daddy, Danny Mora. Forget it. The guy Pete Schimmel, the third baseman, he was like 6'5". He would hit bombs. They had the two brothers, Jesse, and I forgot his brother's name. I apologize. But they were legit hitters, man, from 1 to 10. And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather play right field than center field tonight. You know, I got this young guy who runs like a deer. And
now
I'm
I know the truth.
I'm not lying to you, but listen, we needed you there anyway. You know, we wouldn't have won if we didn't have everybody there. You know, Big Jake was MVP.
Yeah,
if you remember,
yeah.
Tony ran the team. Big Jake was MVP.
Yeah.
He did some damage there, man. You know, you don't want to get in front of Jake with a clincher. Now you're putting a red thunder in front of him, and he's hitting that ball at you. He punished that ball.
Yeah, it was some bombs hitting that game. Our team was stacked though. We were still stacked no matter what we had. We matched whatever they had at that time, and they had to beat us twice.
Yeah,
you know?
That was a big advantage. That was twice coming back, but we put them away in one. So
once we got them down in the first one, it was all over.
But I think that that's what started it. That was like a taste of what we could really do as a team coming together. You know, I knew from the team that I was on before Heavy came over and Tony, we were good, but we were limited. Like, you need that speed, you need character, like Heavy, Black, they brought that leadership, Tony, like guys like that, they put it all together. So you had a bunch of pieces, and then you add the glue, and it forms something, So that's what they did. We were talking about Black. I think I wrote something a couple weeks ago.
You did.
Very, very underrated. Like he didn't play the field, so it was just like, and Black is almost like, like his attitude. He's always upbeat. He's always got jokes, and everything like that. So he's not, always considered there as the top hitters because like he's larger than life, his personality. But he did damage. I mean, like I told that story, and I don't think I gave it as much justification as I should have. In Bricktown, he hit the ball over the tracks, or over the fence, over the tracks, over the houses, and it hit a dude's car driving. And what shocks me is like, yo, someone hit my car. I'm not bringing the fucking ball back, right? This guy brought the ball back. He's like, yo, you hit my car. Like, I mean, he must know that there's softball going on, but this is a random guy. I'm like, this can't happen every night because I've never seen a shot like that going out of Bricktown. When that ball went out of Bricktown in the dark, all you see that little white dot and then it's gone. Black's ball, forget it, man. Like that was you could see the ball. It was like the moon shuttle, right? Where you could still see it going and going and going. and then to have it actually brought back, it saved me $7 that we didn't have to throw in a new ball. The guy brought the ball back.
It said it saves you $7. That's crazy. You let's talk about, because you took a team to Vegas, and I know Tony and you guys talked about that. What was the preparation in putting that team together? Because that was the first time we played in Queens together already. We already did all that, but this was the first travel out of state tournament. What was that process like?
I mean, I defer to Tony, who he selected. I know if I could have taken 3 teams with me, I would have. It just doesn't work that way economically, financially or whatever. It's expensive. So we had our thing in Queens, and we wanted to go to that next level. So that's, we planned to do that and get it together. And Tony was a big part of engineering that. And I'm not trying to blame Tony or push anything on Tony, because I know there was a little animosity of like who was taken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you're always going to have that. And again, it wasn't a slight on anybody, because I'd be like, Tony, why can't, we grab him or whatever. But at the end of the day, you don't want to go down 25 guys, and then playing time's an issue. People giving up, work, taking vacation, spending money down there and everything like that. So we just did what we had. We had the travel team, and that's pretty much what we went with, So,
I still remember losing to that little Mexican team. Couldn't believe there was. I think I was taller than everybody.
They were from Hawaii. They weren't Mexican. They were from Hawaii.
Okay, whatever they was from. Nobody was taller than me on that team. I just know you dudes kept saying, "Move in, Al." Yeah. They hit it over my head. Move back, Al. They hit it in front of me. I just kept
that's when we were learning how to hit. Like, people say like, "Oh, it's arc, just get up." But when you have home run limits and you have to learn how to hit a ball through a hole instead of through a gap or over the fence, it's a big difference. Like, dudes get up there. When you can free swing, you feel good. If there's unlimited home runs, you hit 750. When there's no home runs left, what's your average then? So that's what separated, on the tournament scene, good hitters from great hitters and everything like that. Learning how to hit, putting it through a hole. So that was a big thing. It was a big adjustment, going from unlimited home runs or hitting at the farm or victory or something like that, to going to a tournament where if you have, no home runs left.
My bad, Seven. My bad, Seven. So he said that wasn't us. Seven said that wasn't us. That was Reg and them team who lost to the little short guys.
Oh.
my bad. I'm sorry. What pitch do you prefer? Straight in or arc?
Arc. Definitely arc.
Yeah. You was a monster in that arc, dude.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes dudes would, because you was a right center killer, and they'll back up and you'll still hit it over their head. It didn't even matter. And then sometimes you'll just switch and let me just pull today. Today I'm a pull. It all depends on the dimensions of the park that you played in. You adjusted to everything that was out there. I kind of didn't like playing the outfield with you because you always made me run for everything. But I didn't understand when you was playing right field and I played left center. And you was like, "Yo, Al, just go get it. Don't worry about it."
You had a cannon for an arm, and you ran like you were the Flash, man. So I'm like, you know what? What am I going to race the guy there? I'm going to look bad losing to him in the race for a ball. Then I'm going to throw it. At least he can throw it home. I may hit the cutoff. So I mean, it was like you made me a better right fielder, and that's where I really settled into. I could play center, but I didn't have your speed or anything. You didn't need to get a jump on the ball. You were curved when that ball was over your head. That's when you caught up to it. So me, I had to get a good jump on the ball. Right field, it made me more valuable to learn how to play right field, because in the tournaments, a lot of dudes go backside and they're hitting the ball to right field. So it made me, in preparation for my tournament once, because I went just really to tournaments. So,
Rich said you abused me. I know, Rich. I know he did.
So, but then I mean, I had you, Junior, Russell. In the beginning, there was a little guy, Stevie. Remember? I don't know if you remember little Stevie, the lefty little guy with
I
the
remember
blonde
Stevie.
hair. Yeah, he was there. He played the outfield. So, I mean, like, I just took my ass over to right field, And then when I had all of you there, I just EH,
Yeah, you
when
EH or DH.
Junior, you, Junior, Russell, Mark played with us. God rest his soul. Mark played with us,
Yes.
So I didn't really need to play. Why am I going to play the outfield? You have to do what you have to do to win, and that's what we did. We had speed, and you put the speed in the outfield and everything like that. Same thing with hitting. Most teams I would play on, I bat 2, 3, 4. But with us, I didn't care where I bat. Trevor get up, he hit the ball out. Russell get up, he hit the ball out. If I can make someone feel better and I can adapt to a different spot in the lineup, I'm going to do it. And, you want to win at the end of the day. There's no egos in that, So
no, definitely. Let's talk about, our friendship. It goes back a while. Tony brought me out, and then after Tony brought me out, it's like you just said, you know what, I'm taking over. This is it, Al. You're gonna come to every park in Queens. You're gonna go everywhere in Long Island. You would drive with the Eddie Bauer truck, like you would come and pick me up.
Well,
from train stations and everything.
You got to thank Tony and Heavy, because
Definitely.
they told me that they didn't want you falling into the wrong crowd, and like the wrong crowd was with you or coming after you. They want you to hang out and doing stuff down there and everything like that. So once they told me that, they knew my character, and I'm like, I'm all over the place. Let's get him to fall in love with softball, give him purpose and everything like that. Let's just bring him in as family, and that's really how it happened. Once someone says that there's someone out there who may need you. I grew up without a dad. He died when I was 2. My mom when I was 18. So you could easily fall off, in between. And I didn't want to see that happen to you. And I think, to be honest, you and I just hit it off, man. We just became friends. It was, to me, that was the main thing. Like, if you could stand being with a person as much as we were together, that means a lot. It's a good relationship, man, woman, whatever, it's, if you could deal with being with them, it means something. So I enjoyed our time together. You taught me a lot,
I mean, it was different, usually people take interest in me and then they give up after a while if I didn't reach that certain plateau. Like, I've had coaches that come in and say, hey, I want to help you do this. The next thing you know, they're gone. They never keep in contact no more. You, on the other hand, you actually say, hey, we're going to do this. And you kept your word. You stayed with me. You stayed on me. Al, make sure you're going to school. Make sure you're hitting them books. Even though you was like, come get on this train to come play in this tournament. But
do your homework, get
do
on
your homework,
and
get
then
on the train to come do your homework. But you really felt that void as a father figure to me. And I'm always going to be indebted to you. I'm always going to love you for that. And I don't care what nobody say. Like, I tell you to your face, I tell you, what's up, Pops? Like, because that's how you actually treated me, like your son. You took very good care of me.
I know you had that period, the girl you were dating at that time, and we spoke about that and everything. And I know, like, it's difficult, like, especially, for a young person just to be dealing with anything like that. So I love you too. Like, I don't consider you a son. You're a friend. You're a grown man. At that time, you were like a little brother to me, because I was an only child. So having you around and just being able to play ball with you and stuff, that filled a void in my life too, and to have that relationship. So
it was fun. It was fun.
I failed to mention you should be at that plateau with Heavy and Tony in my life. But we spoke about that. But you're there as well, and Tio and Black and Trevor and Russell, they're right there too. So
definitely. You was the first coach to pay me to play softball. People don't realize that. That was when we was in Vegas. I think I was 19. You know, I couldn't be in the casinos, and I was like, "What am I supposed to do?" He was like, "Here, go to McDonald's and go eat. Here, take this and go eat. Do whatever you want to do." I'm like, "Okay, no problem."
I tried. You know, I know we had the little discrepancy there with the cars and everything, and I'm like, I was just being real. Like, a lot of this stuff was new to me. You know, so like when we rented the cars and stuff, the car was, you know, was under my name and stuff like that, and I'm like, yo, it's Vegas. You don't need to drive around. Like, just take a cab somewhere just in case you're drinking. You don't have to valet it and everything. So I know there was a little, you know, misunderstanding, not with you and I, but with you know, other people with the car and everything. And I'm like, you know, it's not. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I didn't even use it myself. We only used it to get to the games and back.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, just to clear that part up. I don't know.
I'm 45 now, Rich. Yeah, so Dagger was taking advantage of me at 18, 19 years old. Yeah, that's I'm in Vegas, not supposed to be gambling. Now I can't get enough of Vegas. It's because of Dagger. But it's good to have that relationship, and we still have that relationship to this day. I call and text you. You know, you even still want me to move back to New York. You know,
Wait,
so
it's Heather. She's like, get out back here. You know, we can use them. You know.
let's talk about the basketball program, because I know that's the next big thing for you. Before we finish out the
it
softball.
means a lot. You know, where I run Queens Defenders. It's AAU basketball. We have at any time we have roughly 600 kids going through the program. You know, all different demographics. We go from Left Rack to Howard Beach. We do a lot of fundraising. You know, I it's really my heart and soul. You know, I have 4 kids. Like I said, I grew up on my own. I had a lot of parents who stepped in for me when I was younger and taught me things. You know, like, you know, I don't know who's listening, but there was a guy, Jerry Carapola, who was a father figure. Another guy, he's my Uncle John, not through blood, but through family marriage. These guys stepped in. I had another friend, Tommy Chagallus, his father used to take us to play baseball. So what we do, you know, we have training. We run training. And I don't do this. I'm done with basketball as far. I'm just making sure everything's done, you know, the right way. We have 25 coaches, young guys that want to give back to the community, give back to the kids. We pay our coaches. We're a not-for-profit, and we have, I think, we're going on 28 travel teams and over 600 kids total in the program. That's with training and with travel. And it's, you know, we give them a place to go to. We have the gyms and stuff like that. So it's a good opportunity just to get the kids off the street, give them some structure, talk to them, you know, see what they need and everything like that. We try to help everybody, but, you know, unfortunately we can't. But we do give a lot back.
That's dope. You have is it boys and girls or just all boys?
We have 2 girls teams. So
Okay.
I started for my daughter. Because you know, yeah, I mean, you know, my oldest son, he goes to St. John's. He's a computer geek. You know, my second oldest son, Matthew, he's going to Christ the King now,
Christ the King,
and he's on the basketball team. So I gave him everything as far as sports goes. My oldest son didn't want any part of sports, whatever. Matthew wanted everything with sports. So that's what I do with Matthew. And I've given him everything. So now Haley wants, you know, that. And she's been balling out. She's 10 years old. She can play, you know. Here's Matthew right now.
Ow. What's up, Matt?
Matthew. So yeah, he's excited, you know. He's Carmelo's son just signed at Christ the King, so, you know, Matthew's played against him and stuff like that, so he's excited.
That should be good,
and
man.
Christ the King is not your normal high school. Like, I got Matthew is 5'4", 5'5". He's hanging out with 7-footers that are 14 years old. They're coming by the house. You know, it's nuts, man. Heather's driving them all over and everything like that. You know, Heather's like the team mom. So it's been exciting, you know, with the basketball part. You know, I gave up softball just to jump ahead a little bit for the kids, you know, to be with Matt. I didn't want to go out as that older guy who people would say, oh, you had to see him back in the day and everything. I felt I accomplished enough in my softball life. I made so many friends and everything like that. At this time, I'd be a hypocrite by saying, I grew up without a dad and everything, if I was going to be an absentee dad and still travel.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I did it for Matthew. I did it for Haley. They needed me, and that's why I stopped. And I didn't want to go out as that guy, 55, 60 years old, hanging on, doing this, doing that. Like I didn't want to do that, falling down in the outfield. I um I won the 35 and over worlds, the 40 over worlds, the ASAT. So I won national stuff.
Right.
I won locally, so I had my fill of that. At the end, it was about friendship and still playing locally. I played with Tony until the end, locally, and that was really it. Like I just said, hey, I just woke up and said I don't want to do it anymore. I got family, and I got I got my fill of it.
That's what's up. Now, here's the part where I know you're probably going to try to remember because I know you did ARC. So we're going to do 10. And then if you can do Kingston, we'll do Kingston too. But I always say bottom of the 7th, we're going to do St. John's. We're going to do ARC first, St. John's. We're going to do St. John's, but you can pick any player you want. Bottom of the 7th, defensive. Who you got playing first base for you?
Defensively at first?
Yeah.
That's tough. Salam could pick him, man.
Yeah.
Salam could pick
Salam's
it
a picker.
first.
Yeah. Who you got at second? Go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry. Finish.
Listen. I'll give it to you the way I see it. I love heavy or whatever. I think Salam was probably a little bit better fielder. At first base on the hard top. It was tough to get by him. So he was tough. Heavy's going to be a guy you want up to get a hit. Like
definitely.
So heavy be the EH or whatever you could put there. But I'll give credit where credit is due. Second, for my memory, I mean Jeff was phenomenal at second. Middle infield and short. It's tough, man. Tap, Al. James didn't play really at St. John, so Tap, Al, and Butchie, like Butchie, I don't think gets enough credit. He was a tremendous two-way play and tough, man. I was afraid to even talk to him. Him and another guy I was afraid of in the beginning, just that, like the aura, but now like we talk all the time. Eric, man, He's a scary dude. He's little, but like he got that deep voice and he's just like he was intimidating. I'm like, that dude, man, I'm gonna stay away from that guy. But he and I get along awesome now. Dougie don't get enough credit too. Dougie Whitfield.
Yeah,
Dougie don't get it.
Good ball player. Yep. Good ball player.
Third base, Reg. I seen Reggie make some sick plays at third, man. I gotta, Magic was phenomenal at third. Like it's hard, like to say that it's the best of the best because all of these guys, they were the man on their team, and there was so many great teams.
Yeah.
So, to Bones could pick it at third. He just
Bones could pick it, yeah,
man. But he could pick it at third. So, there was a lot of great players, but I think, from all of the interviews I've seen, like the consensus is, it's Al and Tep in the middle, Jeff, I don't think Jeff was a Queens guy, so they didn't get to see him play as much as they should have seen Jeff. I remember Jeff from Queens.
Well, Jeff played tournaments with us with Tony Cherry. Like Jeff was taking moves with him, and then he played in Kingston, so I've seen him up close and personal.
But Jeff was a tremendous second baseman, and he was give you a run for his money back in the day.
Oh no, he's fast. Yeah.
But Jeff was always neat. Like he
pretty boy.
And the dirt would get dirty, not him. Like he always came, like he was always so neat. Like I think he had new batting gloves for every at bat. Like he had like a bag of batting gloves like that. He came out with new ones every time up. Just meticulous, good looking, meticulous guy, but so smooth on the field. Like Darren was talking about Al yesterday, and it blew my mind when you said Al didn't play baseball because the way he did that little flick from so low. It was like like a sidearm pitcher, like Steve
Mm-hmm.
Bajosian or whatever. Like he
Mm-hmm.
throw that
Mm-hmm.
ball and he whip it over. You know, Tap could hit, man. He don't even get enough credit for hitting. You get up and you see the little guy getting up at bat, and Tap hit the ball 400 feet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we
right.
were fortunate enough to witness. I know I didn't get to see Fatty and those guys down, that are legends down there in the day and everything, but the guys I did see, they're legends to me.
No doubt, definitely. No. Who you got behind the plate?
Catch him?
Yeah.
Man. It's
yeah.
Calvin. I mean, listen.
I'm not letting you slide. You're gonna give me somebody.
Put Jake and Calvin in the room and let them yell at each other. Whoever wins, that's who I
fine.
got.
You can have A and B. We're gonna do that. You can have A and B if that's what you want.
They did like defensively. It's tough. You got to catch the ball coming home or whatever. Like I'm not going by that, but they changed the game a different way because they were intimidating. Just you getting into the box, you're like, damn, what's he gonna say to me now? But he's gonna be yelling out something or whatever. Like heads up pitcher. Probably pop up to the pitcher last time, something stupid like that. They'll come out, and it was, and then they were just intimidating men. They were, big guys, deep voices and stuff like that, and they didn't back down. You couldn't say anything back to them. So, those two guys were intimidating guys, and they added to the catcher position where it's just normally like you put a guy back there. Even Black used to catch for us. But Black makes you laugh. Like you're getting up in the box, and Black is sitting there talking, whatever, his head bouncing up and down and everything. So like Black would change the game in a fun way. But Jake and Calvin, like you got in the box, like they keep going at you. So they were different.
Here's the hard part for you. Who you got in your outfield?
I mean, I'll give you Kingston, and I'll just give you overall, Auk.
Okay.
Kingston, I mean, you, Darren, Larry, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You three out there. You guys can go get it. In Auk, I mean, I played with this kid Sticks. He was a phenomenal outfielder. He could go get it. You and Auk too, man. You used to go get that, And Junior and Auk, like he had that ragamuffin. It looked like an old teddy bear.
I never understood that glove, man. That pancake glove. That just I don't know.
He's like Linus carrying around a blanket, right? Like and dirt comes out of it and everything. And I'm like, Junior, how you catch with this shit, man? And like he didn't even catch with it. Like he caught like basket catching with that.
Yeah. Line drives, basket cap. I'm like, what is the world is this dude doing?
So, I mean, yeah. I played, like I was fortunate enough to play and see so many quality players. But, for a crossover, you were one of the best outfielders I've ever played with because you could do both. Mark don't get enough credit. Mark could go get a
Agreed.
ball,
Agreed.
Yeah. So, like I said, we can go on and on with that list. And I apologize if I miss anybody or anything like that, but it's fast. Like, I was thinking about, like, what are we going to talk about? Who am I going to bring up and everything like that? A guy who don't get enough credit was Big John. Remember Big John? That guy hit it out of brick every time up. You started intentionally walking a guy, a righty in Bricktown, intentionally walking him.
Yeah. Big John was different. Was different.
Yeah. So, like he when he came in, he was intimidating, and I know he didn't field well and stuff. He didn't really play a position, but and that's when Bricktown was quality. We were at like the not the end of it, but like it was winding down, and there wasn't so many good teams. We had those last couple of years where there was like College Point, Crazy Moon, us, Big Russ had the team, the Pythons. There was a lot of quality teams there that could beat you. I mean, softball is deteriorating now, man. You know,
Yeah, it's nowhere near the same what it used to be.
it's not even close.
Nah, nowhere near. It's not even fun anymore. Like,
Yeah.
even when I play out here, it's not the same.
I go down. I live like 5 blocks from Juniper Valley Park, and I go down, we used to dominate down there.
Easy.
Down there, and I watch the quality of plays, and it's nothing. You know, like it's just not taken as serious anymore. Like, you know, softball for us was like that was it. You know, we focused on our craft, and we got better, and we played. There's just not that love for the game no more. Especially, you know, I'm talking Queens right now. I don't know on him or anything like that, but for the most part, I'm just talking Queens. You don't have that the same. Like, you know, the same guys like College Point is still winning their leagues over here, and those dudes
They're still playing.
Some of them still play. They're 50 years old, you know, late 40s. You know, Jimmy's younger brother, Brian, Jimmy and Patty's younger brother, Brian, he runs the team, and he's still got, you know, some of those guys still play and everything like that.
Oh, that's good.
But they're still winning, you know?
Wow.
It's not the same.
Okay. Well, we're going to close out. I ain't going to keep you too much longer. Anything you want to close out with before I close out? Anything you want to say that we feel like we didn't touch on?
Man, you know, I just thank you for having me. You know, thanks for the audience, whoever we could reach out to. You know, I just tell everybody stay safe. You know, I miss everybody. I'm looking forward to the reunion. Heather just said that we're not doing anything that weekend, so I'll definitely be there, you know, giving you whatever you need, any kind of support, anything. You just let me know. So
I appreciate it, man. I just want to say thank you for giving me your time, your energy. The interview was great. I know we talked about it always, but you always said, whatever you need me, don't worry, I'll be there. And I said, let me just reach out to you now. So I had my guy Darren on. I said, let me get Dagger too. Since we're going to do it, let me just get Dagger too. So,
you know, we know each other a long time. We played CYO,
yes.
You know, like basketball, we played together. And I used to, I'm not lying, Darren was legit, him and his brother in baseball, because we went to the same high school. So I would be outside with friends watching Darren. Darren had a cannon with a baseball. And, you know, if he pitched, forget it. He would have been nasty any position he wanted to play. But he was a phenomenal center fielder. And his brother, Vin would have killed it down at St. John's. I
asked him why he didn't bring his brother to come play. He said he didn't want to play softball.
Yeah, well, I mean, he played a little bit of softball, but I mean, Vin was like Big Jake, John, that kind of power. Vin would have, like, if you would have got Vin into St. John's, forget about it. Like, people been throwing money at Vin, you know. So, because from what I remember, and I didn't play Vinny that much in Arc or whatever, but Vinny could hit that lob pitch. Forget it. He would have hit it out of left field at Kingston, you know.
Wow.
Not on a regular, but he would have put him out.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, you know, Darren is on here. You know, you still got your Jamal's on here. You have Rich is still on here. Seven is on here. Chili Mo is on here. How you doing, Miss Barbara?
I mean, Jamal, like, he got hooked up. I know he played with Brooklyn a little or whatever.
Yeah.
He's another one. I wish that we could have had more of us, you know, and everything like that.
No. We didn't need Jamal.
Jamal, man. Jamal's my guy, man.
We didn't need Jamal. We didn't need him. Let Jamal stay where he belongs. Let him stay over there.
You would look at him from far away and you see the talent. Like there was so many guys. It's like being greedy. Like, you know, like you choose your team and then there's more guys. You want it. You know, it's like you want more. Eventually, what would have happened is I would have pushed myself out of the lineup, right? You know, I would have pushed someone else out. So there was only, you know, 11 spots that you could fill, you know.
Yeah. No, you're right. You couldn't take everybody, but yeah, I know my cousin was good. He a pain in the ass, but
yeah,
I just didn't want to deal with him. That's fine. He said, I'm a hater. I ain't no hater. I just didn't want to play with you, dude. Get out of here.
I was like, yo, Dagger's my friend. You can't have him.
Get out of here. Just beat it. Stay on your side of town, brother. Get out of here. But we're going to close out. Dagger, thank you again, man. I really appreciate it. I'll see you when I get up there, and I'll definitely be in touch about what we're doing. I'll go over the plans with you and see what you think about some ideas to how to make this really work. Like I said, the dates is already final, so we're just going to go from there. But I really appreciate you, man. Love you to death.
Love you too. Take care. Goodbye, everybody. Stay safe. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, everybody. We have my guy on here, Anthony D'Agostino. I really appreciate him. I'm going to keep saying Anthony D'Agostino. Great guy, great friend. You know, he always put friendship in front of everything, and he was all about seeing everybody happy. He's definitely was always about softball. Um, he kept me playing in every park. I'm talking about every park, man. And the fact that he did that, he didn't have to, but he did it. And, big shout out to Tony Cherry and Heavy for making that happen, making that connection happen. I appreciate y'all doing that. Heavy, rest in peace. So I know you're talking down from the heavens. Tony, thank you for always, putting me first. It was great. Everybody that tuned in, thank you. I appreciate it. Please make sure you share the live. Please make sure you subscribe to Chopping It Up with 860 on YouTube. Also, the date is going to be July the 9th. That is going to be the meet and greet. I'm going to look for a location, a little club or a bar or whatever. Maybe it can just be us. And then Saturday, July the 10th, is when we're going to do the red carpet event, as well as home run derby / softball game. We will recognize a lot of the teams that won championships. Um, we will recognize some of our fallen family members from the game. We're putting it all together as we speak. So I'm just letting you know that's exactly what's going on. We will be needing donations for shirts, hats, masks, of course, for food. Um, we'll be doing donations for that. I will be sending that out to everybody on my Facebook once we get everything locked in. So just know that I will be in contact with everybody about doing this. This is going to happen. This is going to be a yearly event. It's not going to be just a one-time thing. It's going to be A60 presents softball reunion. We're going to recognize all the parks that's affiliated with Kingston, and we're just going to go from there. I'm looking forward to doing this. It's something special to me. It means a lot to me, and I'm going to keep my word to making sure that this happens. If anybody wants to be a part of it or help me, please reach out to me, and then we'll go from there. As far as everything else, I'm pretty much did a lot of the legwork, but as far as anything else, if ideas, please DM me, and then we'll go from there. And or text me. Um, next interview would be next week. We have next Tuesday. Well, I'm sorry, not next week. I apologize. Tomorrow, I have Howie Francis, my first basketball coach. I will be interviewing him. So all my Midnight Express family, if you're on here, tune in, tag someone. We're doing it. It'll be at Kingston Park. That's what we're doing it. We're going to do it from the Atlantic side, so we don't have to hit nobody's windows. We can hit the ball in the park. We're going to do it in Kingston. So I'm working on, the permits right now with my boy Munch. So he's doing me a favor on that one. So we trying to get it, make it happen. I'm trying to also get the police involved. I'm trying to also do a donation to whoever feels like we can figure it out who need it. We're putting it all together now as we speak. So in saying that, again, we have Miss Renee Washington coming on next Tuesday. We have Howard Francis coming on tomorrow, Midnight Express coach. Renee will be giving her women's perspective of softball and, working and taking care of the kids. So that's going to be a great interview as well, getting it from a female's perspective. So that's what we got going on. A60. That's what we're doing. Please share this. Please subscribe to my Chopping Up with A60 on the YouTube. And I will see everyone tomorrow for my interview with Howard Francis. Everybody continue to be safe. Everybody have a blessed evening. And for those that have reached out and sent me text messages and messages on Facebook, I appreciate it. I am doing well. I'm staying at the Brewer home. They opened up their home to me and the boys, so I appreciate them. So shout them out if you see them on here. So I will be going back home tomorrow, but they definitely took me in as always. So I appreciate them. So, in saying that, everybody have a good night. A60. Peace and love, family.